Why did I choose a cold day to do this? I don't know. It escapes. It escapes my being. It escapes my brain. I don't understand why I decided to do this. I went for a little walk. I was wearing a long sleeve, but that bitch was a bit thin, I do gotta say. And oh my God, every angle. Why is the wind picking up as I'm talking about this? I should have like maybe stood somewhere else, but I changed my tap. Ooh, she comfortable. Do the moves. She comfortable. I think it's the first, I have to say, it's the first designer thing that I ever bought for myself. Lena Roma. Rauma. Lena Roma. Hi, hello, it's Gucci. What's happening? It's your girl Dréa. Welcome back to In My Head. Welcome back. Are you happy to be here in my head? I'm still outside. Of course we are, because where else would I be? To be honest, it's so nice. And I know I complained and I said that it's cold. It is. Okay, because why is there a frost advisory right now? Since you're here and you're watching, might as well do a little like, subscribe. I have to turn my back, okay? Because I have a neighbor across the street who is very sweet, very kind, but he weirds me out a little bit, and I don't want him to see me. Well, I know he can see me, but I can see him. But I just don't want to have any interactions today. I don't feel like it, and that's okay, I think, right? Would that make me a bad person? You tell me. I don't know, but I just was not feeling it today. Oh yeah, his brother is the one that parks on their yard sometimes. I don't know what's going on over there, but that's fine. Everybody lives their life as long as they're nice and they're not hurting anybody. Who gives a fuck? Today, you guys, oh wow, I was reminded of so many trips that I've had in my life. And when I mean trip, I don't mean flying on the flying plane. Flying plane? No, I don't mean on a plane. I mean maybe in another plane. Maybe I mean in another dimension, in another experience. I mean, I'm talking about psychedelics, guys. Okay. Anyways, I've had there was a time in my life, 2017. 2016, 2017. I did. Can I say an acid on YouTube? I need to figure that out because I'm not sure if like that's a bad thing that I'm like using those terms, but. This is more of I'm gonna talk about my experience, not as a condoning. Hey, if you're a child or if you're like under 18 or if you're under 21 or if you're under whatever, if you're underage and you're listening to this is not an invite for you to do this. Do not do that. Do you want your brain to melt and for you to be stupid for the rest of your life? Do you want that? Do you truly want that? Do you want to have problems and not be able to sleep because you decided to think it was fun to listen to what I'm saying right now and not wait until you were and the only brain was a bit more cooked, like 20 plus to do any of this shit? Yeah, listen to me. I'm not condoning. I'm not inviting you to do this. I am talking about experience because I want people to have a great experience and I want people to be, oh my God, it's so much better when it's all over my head like this. And I want people to be able to, not end up in insane situation like I have in the past. Okay, this is why we're talking about this. Okay, it's also for entertainment. Although everything is real because it's my life. Okay, anyways. 2016, 2017 is when I was introduced. Hello, I can speak. Is when I was introduced to Lucy, as some people call it. You can call it LSD. You can call it sentences are also fun. I was introduced, but I was introduced before because in grade 11th grade, I want to say that. Was it grade? Yes, it was. Birds, you scared me. It totally was grade 11. Chemistry teacher told us to do a presentation on drugs. I was assigned psilocybin, and my curious self decided to go research everything else, everything that is a drug. It's just what I could educate myself. And one thing I knew for sure in grade 11 is that I did not want to. All I wanted to do was eat shrooms and LSD, because those were the only one that to me didn't seem terrifying for the effect that they leave on your brain when you're of age to do them. Okay, because I didn't do them at the time that I did my research. I had my experiences much later in life. Well, much later, girl. When did I graduate? I literally graduated 2014. Look at me. 2017 is like 3 years later. It wasn't that far away. But I like to think, you know what? I like to think that it was the universe. When I say the universe has always had my back, the universe has always been by my side. The universe has always wanted me to just be good. The fact that I was able to read and educate myself and make sure that I knew what I wanted to do, made sure that later in life, I didn't do much, okay? The other thing that I tried was ecstasy / MDMA, because are they the same thing these days? I am unsure. Back in my days, it was just ecstasy, okay? So that's the only thing that I tried, and to be honest, not that great. It's not that. I did not my thing, okay? I didn't like it that much. So the time that I was not finally, okay? It wasn't a dark time of my life, okay? I was not in a great place. I was in my abusive relationship. So like the first time that I did it was with said person. And I mean, luckily for me, I was able to learn from someone. He had an older friend who till this day, I mean, he was a sweet man. Was he strange? Yes. And the fact that he didn't question, he was questionable a little bit, okay? At the end of the day, he was a bit questionable, but he was sweet, okay? He was sweet to me. He was a bit protective of me in that situation of my life, because he knew that things were crazy and he had been around, and he basically was my trip sitter, I want to say, for the first, my God, 6 times that I'd done this thing, because apparently that's something that I decided to do, was LSD like 6 times in like the span of a year, and then 7, 8 in 2017. You know what I mean? But then after that, obviously I did it after all of this. But this man was basically my trip sitter, and he told me the best way to do it. If you're going to participate and partake in that, you know, he was like, you know, he was like, a quarter of a tab or half a tab at a time, because I was new. If you don't want to get hit with a brick wall of like effects happening in your mouth or in your face, you want to have a good little takeoff. And so taking a little bit at a time every few hours, make sure that like you're not gonna it's gonna be a smoother ride, okay? As much as it's a smoother start, it doesn't mean that the rest of the experience is smooth, okay? Luckily for me, my first time, I only cried for like 3 hours of my trip, because I was realizing so much about myself, and because I was realizing so much about my life. You know, it was so fun. But the first 13 hours, because that's how long we decided to make it last, because apparently when you take it every 2 hours, it's kind of like it adds more hours to your timer of like being high on that shit. So, you know, that happened. So be careful when you do that. But I do also recommend that taking, you know, half a tab at a time, a quarter of a tab at a time. I've never done more than 2 tabs. That's a lie. I think I haven't done more than a tab and a half. And a tab and a half to me is like perfect. I don't want to do much. It was amazing. But it was quite the experience. I mean, if there's anything that I suggest, if you're going to partake, if you can have a trip sitter, please have one. I was once a trip sitter, and I have strict rules. You need to clean before you're gonna start doing said activity. You need to prepare, have some fruits, have some veggies, have some little light things, because you're not gonna want to eat that much during, after maybe. And that's for and shrooms, because those are the only two that I've done. You want to have light food, water. Personally, another rule of mine, you want to have gardening products, okay? You want to be able to have gardening products because they keep you grounded. Because something that happens when you're taking said psychedelics is that you'll feel a bit vibraty, and you'll feel a bit crisp, and it'll feel like you're not that relaxed, and it really relaxes you. It brings you down when you feel like you're elevating a bit too much, and when you feel like things are a bit too much. You wanna have a little gardening, because it helps you feel a little better. Okay, this is a suggestion of mine. And then my favorite, most important rule, that one group that I said it for, well, the only group that I sit it for, but that's a lie. I've sit it for like family, okay? Because again, okay. Anyways, they decided not to follow this rule, okay? But my most important rule is to never leave the safe perimeter, okay? We establish a safe perimeter before we do the trip. The example I'm gonna use, it was 3 girls. Those girls were so fantastic. Shout out to them. During I think they were 3 girls. They were renting a house, students, and they had a yard. So the house and the yard were the safe perimeter. We do not leave the we do not leave the we do not leave the safe perimeter. Safe perimeter. We don't leave the safe perimeter. And guess what they decided to do? There's a reason why you don't want to leave the safe perimeter. Because 1, I don't want you to bad trip because you are going to be affected by other people with your during your trip, and that's not something that you want unless you've taken a smaller dose and you're with a group of people and y'all are like more experienced. Maybe you'll be down to like go for a little stroll. I did it with my fam. When you're experienced, it's all good, but when it's your first time, okay, unless you're with a sitter that is allowing you to go to a certain like distance, you do not leave the safe perimeter. So these girls, they were like, oh, we're hungry. Like, I think we're like 5 hours in, okay? And they were like, oh, we're hard. And then we're basically like high key at the peak of it. And they're like, we're hungry. We want to go eat, blah, blah, blah. I was like, and I don't think they had that much food. They had like snacks, they had like chips and stuff, but like they didn't have like any, I don't remember if they had any veggies and stuff. So that's why they wanted to go eat. And they, for some reason, wanted to go to this pizza shop that's like a 5-minute walk away from their place, because it's like 6 like houses, whatever, down. And I was like, y'all, it's not part of the safe perimeter. We can't do that. I am so sorry, y'all. If anything, eat what you have here. At the end, you probably won't even want to eat that much. So like, it is what it is. We like, if you would have known before, we could have ordered, blah, 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 blah. I tried to make it like I tried to be understanding, especially that before then we were chilling in the backyard, hugging trees and talking to nature. And it was beautiful and it was great. We were having a great old time, okay? One of them, I can't remember which one of them decided to escape, decided to leave. So the other girls followed, so I had to follow. What was supposed to be a 5-minute walk was a 15 to 20-minute walk, because they were stopping at everything. They were being distracted by everything that had a pulse or that looked like something that they could see with their eyes. It was such a long walk to get so close. And sometimes I wonder if I always think about the people that were probably walking around that probably saw us, because guess what? One of my things that I like to do is like, I like to start doing it early in the day. So then you can look at the beautiful colors, you can look at nature, you can go for walks, you can enjoy it outside. And then when it's dark, you can also enjoy how cool it is at night. So at that point, I'm pretty sure it was like close to like I think it was like 5 p.m. But babe, it's the summer. So like it's light as like it is right now outside. I'm gonna tell you guys, welcome. This is the okay. I'm not gonna go into my meteorologist bit. This is not happening. So they escaped. We got there, okay. And while we were on the way there, I was telling them, I was like, "There's no way y'all are gonna want to eat anything. Like, there's energy in food. I don't think you're gonna be down for that. But hey, do what you gotta do. Get your food. I'm super down." We get there. It's at this pizza shop. There are some men of another ethnicity who is not white and who is not Asian and who is they were Arabs. Okay, let's just okay. We got there. They were fine. They were smiling, fake smiling, being nice because they just want people to buy their shit and leave. So and especially another thing to be conscious about when you are high on psychedelic, whatever you want it to be. Even I want to say like gardening sometimes, I feel like that's another thing, but like you're more prone to absorb, like not absorbing, but like feeling other people's like feelings and feeling other people's feeling other people's energy and feeling the unspoken, the unshown, the what's like behind the veil type of thing. And personally for me, I gotta say, I've had so many superpowers, okay? And I feel like I can understand any languages. I feel like I can understand any languages when I'm high on LSD. Kind of pretty on psychedelic. I feel like I've been able to like speak other languages. I feel like, if you don't know about MK Ultra, look into it. MK Ultra, the US government doing tests on humans with LSD to see if they can have like different type of powers and type of shit. Personally, once I've done my research, and after doing it so many times, I can attest to, you can definitely get some powers. Because why during one of my trips was I will get back to the pizza shop, y'all. Don't think that I'm not remembering where we're going. I will not forget, I promise. But one time when I was doing psychedelics, I was on a balcony, and I can tell you that I could literally zoom into people's apartment. It's almost like I was floating outside of their window, and I could see everything inside their apartment, and to like very, very, very great details. And that was really interesting. That is one of my favorite things to do. There's been that one other time that I was like balancing on a chair with 4 legs, and as I was balancing, my eyes were closed, and it felt like I was like basically doing a puzzle, like geometric puzzle. And once I aligned everything of the geometric puzzle, I opened my eyes, and I was like perfectly balancing on like the 2 like behind leg, like basically leaning like this. It was pretty amazing, I do have to say. So y'all, I gotta say, it's pretty real. But continuing at the pizza shop, okay, the girls were talking, they were getting distracted and everything, they were taking their time, and it was taking long. So I was trying to get them to continue, because these men behind the counter, they were giving the biggest tank eye of life, but they were trying to pretend to be nice, because hey, they're customers, they're gonna spend money, so they're gonna eventually buy something. I get my thing, okay, I order a salad that I didn't eat, by the way, but I ordered a salad, and I go to pay. I use the wrong card. I use like my credit instead of my debit, and it doesn't work. And he's like, and one of the cashier thought it was the greatest idea to joke about the fact that I don't have money, and that's why I can't pay. And anybody that knows me, who the fuck are you talking to? Especially if I'm high like this, and like the girls, or I'm here, mama bear, trying to protect the girls, and you're being a fucking weirdo, and you're trying to make shitty ass joke, and you change the whole fucking ass mood. So I looked at him, and I was like, I just used the wrong card. Don't gotta worry about me paying. I will pay. And because he didn't, I guess, expect me to talk back to him when they went back to do the girls' pizzas, y'all, it's like it's like all the light dimmed down, and like we were in a like very dark movie, and you could see them with like as if they had like where's my phone? It was like as if, oh well, I'm outside, you can't tell. It was like as if the light was coming from under, and they were like this in the back. I look insane. It was like they were just like in the back, just like speaking to each other in Arabic, but like I knew they were spitting horribleness like to us, because first of all, we were a group of women. The girls were clearly high on something, I do have to say, and they were just spewing non-nice stuff into the food. And I was telling the girls, I was like, y'all girls, they're talking shit. And I was like, how do you know? I was like, I know I don't speak Arabic, but I'm telling you, I know they're talking shit. And some of the girls started paying attention, and they were like, oh my god, I think they're actually right. Could be paranoia, could be actually understanding. You tell me later, because guess what, I was right. And when we got the food, we left. It took us less time to get back home, because again, we knew where we were at that point, so we were able to make it back. All the girls were saved. Mama Bear did a great job. And we get there and they sit and they're like, you're not, to me they're like, you're not gonna eat, and I'm like, no, I'm not gonna fucking eat because I don't want that fucking energy in myself, and I'm good, you know. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about, blah blah. And I was like, girls, you're gonna taste that, you're gonna see how it is, and tell me if it's good. And you can't taste the yucky of that person's energy into that. And so they eat, and guess what, I was right as per usual. Sorry, but I was correct. And just a quick look at me, and they're like, yeah, spit it out, yucky. Of course, because energy is everywhere. Energy is everywhere. Can you see to the body roll? Can you see to the body roll? Can you see to the body roll? Okay. That was crazy. But yeah, energy is so everywhere, and it is in everything. And so I personally talk to my food before I eat it. I talk to my drinks before I drink them. And you know, because I want to be able to, 1, be that bitch, 2, look like that bitch, and 3, just have the kindest heart in the world. So I always ask my things to just bless me and to make me smarter, to make me kinder, to make me, you know. So yeah, and the girls regretted going on their excursion because it took so long. It was so difficult. One of the girls had an emotional moment and she was crying in her room, and like I just asked them to like give her space, that it's normal, you know, which is why I say, hey, be in the best mental space as possible when you're doing psychedelic, because LSD, I think, is something that everybody should try. Asterisk when they are of age and not before. And when I mean of age, I mean be at least 25, please, because I don't think it fucked me up because, again, I'm special and I'm a God's strongest soldiers. If you don't know about that, that's from the last episode. It's fine. But I think that I was lucky enough to, I mean, I did my research. I never did too much. I've not personally, I don't think I've ever had a bad trip. The amount of time that I've done this thing, I've never had a bad trip ever, and I consider myself blessed and lucky because it could have gone wrong so many times. But it's LSD, I think, is something that everybody should try, because all those deep, dark doors within yourself that you're scared to look what's behind them, you know they exist, you decorate them and then you ignore them, you walk by them all the time, and then you know they're there, but like you don't want to, we're not gonna deal with what's behind that, right? Well, LSD, guess what, is Sparta kicks you inside that room, and then it locks the door, and then you gotta deal with what's on the other side of that, which is why, like I said, during my first time doing LSD, I cried for a good 3 hours towards the end of my trip. But when I woke up the next day, I felt so new. I felt like a whole new person, and I felt like I could triumph from everything. And that was a thing that was pretty nice. And you know what, my experience with psychedelics, especially the way that I've done it, I've always had not always, I try to always have an element of nature. There were a few trips that were not about that, but having the element of nature and just life, to be able to be remixed, to be able to see how everything is alive. You know, I've had a full-on conversation with a tree for 3 hours. We were cool homies after that, which is why till this day I say hi to trees. I name them, I talk to them, I compliment them, because guess what? That's why we have air. So like, be nice to the fucking trees, of course. But like, when I say that, like, again, y'all know about my girl over there, you know, they cut her limbs, you know, they fucked my girl up. It was fucked up. But nature is so alive around us, not even, and we know because we learn about how they work, their system, how they ingest the sun and they spew out shit for us to be good and alive and shit. That was such a great description of biology, and I hope that somebody got to learn from that and you get an A on your test with my explanation. So crazy, what the fuck. But nature is so beautiful, And right now I'm looking at it, I'm just like, well, nature is so beautiful, which is why, like, it makes me really sad sometimes when I see areas that I've frequented areas that I've been to, because I don't know what it is. Okay, I don't know what's the correct term, but areas that I visited and they've been turned into concrete world. They turned into houses. Which how are there so many more houses yet so many more homeless people? How does that make sense? I've thought about that the other day. I was like, they're building so many houses, yet the more houses I'm seeing being built, the more homeless people I'm seeing. So, like, I think there's a I think there's a there's something fish. And it smells stank. It smells dead. It smells not it. I've had great experience, but that's because I've always been safe. I've always made sure that I'm in a great mental space when I do them, unless I'm really trying to have a spiritual experience and I'm trying to, like, really dig deep. I've had, like, a few trips that were strictly for spiritual purposes, and so that's when I get shroomies that are specifically for that activity, because there are some out there, and those ones were always so healing and so good, and I haven't done one in a very, very, very long time. So who knows, maybe this is something I will do next year. I'll possibly do that next year. Who knows when I'm gonna do that, but having a good spiritual experience is very good, and I think it low-key hikey helped me kind of, but not the way that some, oh my god, okay, I gotta talk about something though. Like, there's too many people that I've heard and seen in this world try to use psychedelics to, like, open their mind and to become a better person, but then it just, like, it don't work like that. You don't, first of all, you're not supposed to need psychedelics to, like, get to figure yourself out, and unfortunately most of those people are men. And you know what, I'll take a moment to have some compassion for men. If they need psychedelics or an experience to be able to dig into their feelings because patriarchy told them that having feeling is yucky and gross and weak, well, then I guess that's fine, but, like, you're supposed to get better, not worse, and not stay shitty. So that's where, like, I have a bit of a problem. But hey, everybody has their own experience with psychedelics, and I still think that everybody should have their own experience on psychedelics when they are of age, when you are over 21, because I do not suggest that you partake before said age, because your brain gonna have struggle later, and you don't want to do that. I ain't talking about experience. I was 20 when I did it, so at least I was in the 2-0. Guess what? But yeah, protect your brain. You don't want to do that, and you want to make sure that you're with a great group of people. I haven't done a trip by myself because I think that that's, like, you can if you want to, but then we should have another conversation, in my opinion. I think that it's great to experience with people that you love, people who love you back, and people who are great. I would say in an environment where you feel safe. I really, really, really do not suggest, when you're a first timer, a beginner, to go to public places or to festivals, to raves. Don't do that to yourself, because then that's when you get really, really bad trips, and that shit is no fun for nobody, not for you nor the people who have to see you go through that. So let's not do that, right? Alright, it would be great if you were not to do that. So I think that was a bit of my PSA for psychedelics. Do it a few times a year. Don't do it too many times a year, especially LSD, because LSD will fry your brain, and you don't want that. Okay, you don't want that. You do not want that at all. You want to have a healthy brain. Healthy brain. You want a healthy brain to bring you around the life. Ooh. Little birdies over there. There's, like, so many of them. Why are there so many little birdies? But I'm glad that y'all feel safe around me, and to feel safe to have a little party that I'm not bothered. That's how you know. When you have a bunch of animals that feel comfortable around you while you're just having a good time, you know what that means? That means that I'm great. And I believe it. That's what I said to the people who did not understand what I said. So that's that. Okay, that was great. What else? Have I wanted to talk about? I think that was all. Oh no, I want to shout out. So as you guys know, as you guys saw, I was struggling with my skin for the past few episodes. I have to say, I was almost hit with what they call PD, perial dermatitis, and I want to shout out my bestie, my beautiful Chloe, my beautiful Live Aesthetics. If you want to get beautiful facials or some advice for skincare, my beautiful best friend, my girl, she's my best friend. She's great, she's my girl, she's my best friend. She saved my skin. My lips, I would say they're still healing, but they're looking good. The tea session I just had with my neighbor. About my insane landlord and about things that are happening. The tea I just had from my neighbor. Okay, I'm gonna have to be able to tell. Oh my God. The sun is hitting so beautifully. Man, the tea I just had from my neighbor, that was amazing. I'm gonna get to quiz it today. We're gonna do quiz it today because I'm gonna have to do other things before I can even share any of what's going on today. Oh my God, and 12:12 on my phone. Okay, shit, I can't show you like that. 12:12 on my phone. You guys, okay. Anyways. All right, quiz of the day is a quiz of the day is a quiz of the day is a quiz. Quiz of the day is a quiz of the day is a quiz. Is a quiz. A quiz. Quiz. Is the quiz. Is the quiz. Is the quiz. Quiz. Is the quiz. Okay. Anyways, y'all. Okay. Which Alice in Wonderland character are you similar to? Who is your favorite character? You have Alice, Cheshire Cat, Mad Hatter, Queen of Hearts, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, the White Rabbit, Blue Caterpillar, the Doorknob, or March Horror. Good question. I mean, the White Rabbit is cool. The Caterpillar's alright. I have to say, girl, I don't even know which one is my favorite one. Who is my favorite character? The cat is cliche. Don't like the dummies. The Queen of Heart is kind of insane. I'm gonna say the Blue Caterpillar because obviously. Where would you visit? Where in Wonderland would you visit first? The Mad Hatter's Tea Party, Tulgey Wood, Queen of Hearts Castle, Meadow of Living Flowers, the Queen's Maze, White Rabbit's House, or the Blue Caterpillar's Mushroom. I mean, the Meadow of Living Flowers, for sure. Choose flowers to sing with. Oh my goodness. So there's a rose, there's whatever looks like a white dog, there's a beautiful diva, there's a group of cute little cuties, there's some macho man flower, there's a group of like nun ladies, there's like the animal flowers, and there's those other one that look like a gay couple. I do have to say I'm gonna take the queen. Whoever looks like that diva, she looks cute, we can sing together. Choose a plate of biscuit. Okay, so there's some cute ones that say "Eat Me." There's other ones that are more cute. There's some clock ones. They're all dry ass sugar cookies. Okay, they're all dry ass sugar cookies. I'll take the one that look more soft to the mouth and they got some pink on it. Okay, choose a game to play with the queen. Baseball, croquet, tennis, soccer, basketball. I don't do sports. Out of those, I can't do soccer because my knee's fucked up. Can't do basketball, knee's fucked up. Tennis, guess what? Knee's fucked up. Baseball, guess what? Knee's fucked up. So we're gonna do croquet. Okay. Choose a hobby. Reading, writing, listening to music, hanging with friends, cooking, arts and craft. It's hard because I want to say writing, I want to say listen to music, I want to say arts and crafts, but I'm gonna say arts and crafts because it's what I do. Choose a quote you relate to. Do not go where the path may lead, go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible. You can resist everything except temptation. I can resist everything except temptation. Just when I think I have learned the way to live, life changes. We must let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the one that is waiting for us. There is nothing permanent except change. I like that nothing is impossible. The world says I'm possible. And guess what? My life is full of miracle. It's the first, so of course. Favorite color? Green, because bitch. Wow, I'm Alice. Interesting. You're quite the inquisitive person. You see the world a little different than your friends. You have a passion for learning new things, facts, and take matters into your own hands. Sometimes you make the wrong decision, but you learn from your mistake and continue your adventure. And that, I have to say, is pretty freaking accurate for the being that I am. I don't even know how long this episode is gonna be because like this sun is hitting so hard. I don't even know how long this episode is gonna be because, as you guys know, I just spent like so long having tea with my upstairs neighbor who is leaving this month, and guess what? The universe is gonna make it happen that I can leave this month too, so I don't have to stay in this insane place. Guys, if you're here, you know that self-awareness is the key to be a good person to yourself and others. You know that self-awareness is your bestie, and I thank you for being here. I thank you for staying until the end, and I thank you for being that bitch. So take care, be good, and mwah mwah mwah.